Hallmarkies podcast. We are so excited today. We have one of our Hall stars here to do one of our rankings that we've been doing the last couple of years, where we invite on one of the stars and we rank their movies with them present, and we get to hear all the details about the making of the movies. It's so much fun. And I'm familiar with Rachel Wagner, and Jax is here.
Hi.
Yes. And today we have Christopher Russell here to rank his movies. Christopher, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this takes a little bit of a strange thing we do, but it's been so much fun. We've really enjoyed doing it, so we're excited. And thank you so much for letting us rank your movies.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. So how have you been doing?
Really well. Yeah. Been lucky to be working outdoors a lot this past year. Hallmark sort of seen an opportunity with the way the world is conducting itself, and moved a lot of its filming into the outdoor region so we can keep going. So yeah, I've done a few. There's a few in post-production right now. And currently I'm working on a film called Love in Yellowstone, which is it's about love on a ranch.
We get to see Vancouver as Wyoming.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Not Vancouver. We're actually an hour and a half outside of Vancouver.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Nestled right in the mountains there. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I was peeping your leading lady's Instagram, and she looked like she was having a really good time with you and the horses.
Oh yeah. The horses are really sweet. They the owner of the ranch, his name's Danny Virtue, and he's been in the business since the 70s. So all of these horses are they're used to it. They're well trained. So they know the difference between action and cut, and once you get them in a routine too, it's funny because if the director decides to change something, the horse is already kind of still wanting to do what it was doing the last couple takes. Like, it's just pretty fun.
You get to wear a cowboy hat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Very fun. That will be hopefully we'll get it in the fall or something like that. That would be.
I have a feeling this will be a spring flinger.
But... Oh, spring fling. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes. So for this ranking, we have decided to do just the leading roles because you have been in a lot of films, and so that we ended up with 6 films in the ranking. And it made it so I had to give up Mistletoe Secret, which would probably be my favorite because I really liked you and Tyler in that movie.
I actually worked more days on Mistletoe Secret than I did in The Nature of Love.
Really?
Just so you know, yeah.
Oh well, maybe if we include it in the ranking, it would be number 1.
Oh, well, we better not.
I think for Mistletoe Secret, they made the A plot line the bromance between you and Tyler. Like halfway through they pivoted, and they were like, "Yeah."
They leaned into it quite a bit, for sure.
It was
I don't think they initially had that intention going into it, but we just had that romance chemistry happening. Yeah. So there you go.
And you should be in another movie together. It's just a good combo.
You're not the first person to say that.
I think so. So, do you have a favorite of all the Hallmark movies that you've been in?
Oh,
I know, tough.
Visually, I really like Chasing Waterfalls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I also really like Love in the Forecast. It's not as exciting, I guess you would say, as Chasing Waterfalls, but there's just something about the pacing and the chemistry in that one, even though Cindy and I are in both movies. I don't know. I think it's kind of a toss-up between the two. But then I'm going to get really annoying here. I also really like Nature of Love. So
yeah.
does that help?
Yeah. No. It's like picking your favorite child, right?
Oh, but then there's Love Unleashed with the puppies and everything. And I really like working with Jen Lilly, so I don't know. Okay, so do you want me to pick my favorite right now, or how are we going to do this?
Well, we can come back to it if you want to think it over.
Okay. So I do know, but I mean, we could leave everyone hanging if you want.
Okay, that'll be good.
We might start saying things about ones that you haven't mentioned that you're like, oh, wait a minute, I actually do love that one the most. We might.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I noticed that they like to make you a dad in a lot of these.
Yeah, they've made me a dad
/ uncle.
Times. / uncle. Yes, you're talking about Midnight Masquerade, the uncle. I think it's because of my my childish personality. You bring out the best of me with a child actor, I suppose.
Yeah, because that's not always the case. I feel like you and Michael Rady are the ones that they always make dads.
Yeah, I guess I have that dad quality. I mean, I am actually a dad, so
there you go.
Could be it. I don't know.
Very good. Well, as we always say, it's all in fun. So even our lower ones, it's still, I always say a bad Hallmark movie is better than no Hallmark movie. So it's all,
Okay.
And our lists are not necessarily the same. So, it's going to be fun. So let's start off number 6. Jax, go for it. What's your number 6?
Okay, so my number 6 is Merry Matrimony.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more vintage Hallmark in the sense that I'm less excited about the engagement, the old school engagement at the end.
Right.
You know? And also so Jessica Lowndes is so attractive that when you have two people, I mean, look, all the leading ladies are very attractive, but she is just soul crushingly gorgeous. The combo of the two of you, I'm like, I need a little bit of normalcy here. I feel so bad about myself. So that's where I landed with that one.
So what you're saying is it didn't feel real to you.
The two of you together are offensively attractive, and it's like the couple at the party that you're like, I can't even talk to them. You know? They're not just like
me. I guess thank you. I don't know.
Way to go, casting. I think that was a good job. Had you seen this one before this week, Jax?
No. So actually there are 2 on this list that were new to me. I'll talk about the next one much later in my rankings, but I had not seen this one. Yeah. And I did this one and another one as a double feature, and they were both brand new to me this week.
Oh.
So was this your first movie for Hallmark? Merry Matrimony?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm the one that you're interviewing. No. You mean as a lead or just in general?
Yeah.
It was my second, actually. Midnight Masquerade was my first. It was the same year. I made them in the same year. Yeah, I did Midnight, or no, it was a year later. Pardon me. I did Midnight Masquerade the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they ever have problems on set with making with the fact that you're just so tall and getting the scenes, so you're not like towering over your co-stars? Because they don't put you with the super tall actresses for the most part, like Jill Wagner, for instance, very tall.
I don't know what their logic is, but
Patricia Helfer, she's very tall.
It seems that I keep winding up with the petite leading ladies. Yeah, I mean the usual, the apple boxes, right? Give them a little bit of height for the close-ups and stuff, but for the wide shots, there's not really much you can do but heels. But I often find that the wardrobe on these shows, they for some reason like to give me a nice boot with a bit of a heel itself. And I always mention that I'm tall enough as it is. I don't know that I need that. But I'm only 6'2", so I'm not exactly a giant. I just look that way when I'm beside someone who's 5'2".
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty tall, 6'2".
It's actually kind of funny though. For some of them, they try to come up with some ingenious ways to make it work. So they'll actually build like a little path beside me, like that's about this much higher, like a few inches higher, that the leading lady will walk along beside me for a walk and talk. Yeah.
Wait, really? Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, they do that.
That's the kind of behind the scenes details we get in these rankings. It's
yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah. So Merry Matrimony, did you have any particular memories of making that movie? What was like as your first Christmas movie the lead?
Well, it was so that one was shot in Hamilton, Ontario. I don't know if you're familiar with Hamilton, Ontario, but it's about an hour outside of Toronto. And we did that at the beginning of September of that year. But the weather in Ontario, in Canada, it's still in September. It's like 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that's Fahrenheit. So it's hot. It's very hot. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm often wearing a sweater, perhaps a scarf, maybe a nice coat.
Double layers, yeah.
So the scene where we're having pizza by the fireplace, I have never been so hot in my life. And we're supposed to be nice and romantic, things are going well for us now. And the whole time we're both just sitting there dripping sweat. And in between takes, they're coming in and just like, patting us down to wipe us off, blowing fans in our faces, putting ice packs on us because we couldn't have the air conditioning on for sound, right? And they wanted the fireplace on for ambiance. So it's a real treat.
The sacrifices we make for Hallmark, right?
The sacrifices we make. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, my number 6 is actually Love Unleashed. And I know. The puppies are adorable. And you are a cute dad in it. But my problem was I love Jen Lilly as a human. She's amazing. But her role in this movie, I just thought she was too stupid. It drove me crazy that she would not know that she was running a business and that would be somehow some kind of surprise to her when she is literally doing all these parties and marketing, and she has merch and she has it's obviously a business. Like what? It was just too much. I couldn't deal with it. And then also I felt like this wasn't the best way to treat these dogs, to have them in her house and stuff. I don't know. I was a little bit we need to be careful about how we treat these dogs. And I know I know that she was trying to get them adopted, but again, the fact that she didn't think that was a business is just come on, you can't be that dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
So, but it's got puppies, so
it does have puppies.
It does. And I'm sure that was a fun one to make. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was miserable working with all those puppies all the time.
It wasn't miserable at all for us, but certainly for the crew, because puppies aren't trained. Right. So anything you can capture on camera is a gift, because they're just running wherever they want to go. They're so excited. They're eating everything in sight, and they're just wild. So definitely the days were longer on that for sure. Because also animals only have a certain period of time they can work, which is much less than adult humans. So we have to keep coming back to it. Yeah.
And so you've worked with Chrissy Will Wolf, what, 3 times, 4 times?
Yeah, it might even be more now.
Yeah.
We've got some in the can that haven't come out yet.
Ooh. Well,
Yeah.
see, I liked kind of the fact that I think she was she was the passed away wife in this one, I think.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, her pictures and then this flashbacks or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess she figures, well, somebody's got to do it, so might as well be me.
Yeah, she's put herself in as well as like someone selling flowers in a park and stuff. Like she'll pop up.
Yeah.
She'll pop up.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jax, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Nature of Love.
Tell me more.
I get very invested personally in these movies and the fact that they bring up things in my own life. And glamping, papa moi, it's not for me. That's the only French phrase I know also.
Yeah.
The French is also not for me, except for that one phrase. I'm not a glamper. I've had 2 experiences with it that went horribly wrong, that I thought it'd be glamping and then it was camping. So this pushed some of those buttons for me. Although I did enjoy, I love that you guys had chemistry and that you looked like you were having fun. It was just hard for me to feel like I would have fun in that atmosphere, which is what I tend to do when I'm watching the movies. And that was a stretch for me in this one.
Fair enough.
I have never gone glamping. Now all of a sudden you're making me question my ranking.
Okay, no, Rachel, I want to say this to you so I don't dissuade people from going glamping. I went glamping on 2 bachelorette parties where there just was no food. They didn't plan accordingly.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't plan accordingly. So don't let me dissuade you from having an amazing glamping trip or ranking this movie higher because of my baggage.
That's the only good thing about camping is the food. If they forgot the cooking over like foiled dinners and s'mores and stuff like that, it's delicious.
Oh yeah, no,
that epic fail there.
It was an epic fail. So I've let that wiggle its way into my psyche. So, but
well, you need to go glamping where you have your own personal attendant, like in the movie.
Yeah, I think so.
He drives a golf cart around and brings you all the snacks you want.
Yeah.
That was clutch, I will say.
So we're going to talk about this one a little bit later on because I have it much higher. But my number 5 is Marry Matrimony. And I had never seen this before, like I said, until this week. And I still enjoyed it. I always love watching Christmas movies off season. That makes them extra good. It's like, yay, Christmas. And it was Christmas in July. So that was fun. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought the plot was a little boring at times.
Yeah.
About them like both planning these weddings. That's not like even a real wedding. So you don't get this like satisfaction of like them actually even like getting married and planning a wedding. It's like a photo shoot. It's just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. It's it was a bit thin.
Yeah. But I like Jessica and I like you. So you know,
I'll say this, and I mean, the only thing that got me with that one a bit was like we lost touch for 7 years that easily. Of like something about forgot to call her back. I'm like, yeah, but there's been cell phones for quite a while. How could I lose your?
Right.
It just seemed. I don't know.
It's true because the email's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I could have emailed her. I think.
Yeah.
But I could also look at it like, well, maybe that was just his bad excuse.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
He was just like living his best life in Paris.
It's true, yeah.
And getting famous. Like that was really the thing, right? Like let's call it shade here.
Yeah, let's do that.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Is your number 4, Jax?
Love Unleashed.
Okay.
Love a puppy party. Of course, love puppies. I've never had a puppy, but I do think they're darling. There wasn't really anything about this that I didn't like. I just like the other ones better that are higher on my list. Although, Rachel, I will agree that it was funny. I mean, if we all would be so lucky to accidentally be able to run a business, like that branding takes time and money and effort. And even then, small businesses have a hard time taking off. So, would we all so lucky?
Yeah,
But-
I was like, the city people are like the heroes of that movie because they're actually like making sure the dogs are being taken care of. And like they were doing these like big villains, and I'm like, no, actually, that's good. It's good that they're doing that. I mean, I know it's Jen Lilly who's delightful and a wonderful human, but yeah, you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna have puppies in my house for this business.
Yeah, sometimes we have to stretch our imaginations.
That's true. Anna Benedicto is in Love Unleashed and also Love in the Forecast.
Yes.
And we love her. She's one of our favorites. So she really gets so excited about craft services, as it seems.
She does.
Yeah.
And she's also in Nature of Love.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that.
That was
Yeah.
as I was doing my Christopher Russell movie marathon, I was like, when are you going to be a lead with Donna? Like this
We
needs
love it.
to happen.
Yeah.
Well, one day she's got a few movies that she's working on where she is actually the lead. That should be coming. I don't know if they're Hallmark or what they are, but I know she's doing that now.
She's just so fun. She's hilarious. So
Yeah,
I
she
can
is.
imagine she would be fun to be in a set with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a lot of when she's on set before you see her.
Yeah.
It's like, hi. It's like, oh, Donna's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first time we interviewed her, which is top 10 interview I've ever done, she was so funny. And I was literally just like practically crying. I was laughing so much. She was so funny. She was talking all about the craft services.
Loves the craft services.
It was really good. Anyway, my number 4 is Love in the Forecast. And this was like a breath of fresh air during like peak horrible COVID time last June when we all needed it. And I always look at it more fondly for that reason.
Yeah.
But it was just the whole aesthetic was something different that you hadn't seen before in Hallmark. The whole thing with umbrellas and the rain and everything like that. And I like Nelson Wong in there as her he delivering telegrams. He was funny. I like Donna. I mean, you were really getting a good deal in that movie because they're like women were coming over to your house, like making you food.
True, yeah. Bake me pile. That was good.
Yeah. And yes. But I thought it was cute. And I mean, the whole idea of like using nature versus using science I would want my weather person to use science. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
I mean, I think, I mean, it's just a way for us to.
It's the point that contrasts between the two of you. You're like the hometown hunk, and she's like the modern city, whatever woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like not everything is as rigid as you might think or as specific as your science may lead you to believe. Because I will say, from a personal point of view, being a weatherman or weather woman or weather person is a pretty good gig, because you can be wrong every day and still have your job, right? So I think he was just trying to, complement her style in a different way.
Yeah. It's what was it like shooting all those rain scenes?
So in British Columbia, it's a rainforest. I don't know if you know that. It does typically rain here quite a lot during the fall and winter, like sometimes for like 60 days straight. But when you want to make a movie about rain, it doesn't.
Doesn't it like look different, like the movie rain versus real rain? Like they put
You'd
stuff in the
think,
water.
but I feel like they pulled it off. But they had rain machines, right?
Well, no, don't they put like soap in the water to make it look better when it's filmed than regular rain?
Oh, I actually don't know about that. That could be true. I had never inquired about that.
Yeah.
Like,
that's just what I'd heard, because if you're taking a movie in regular rain, the raindrops are just clear. So you need.
Yeah, you can't see them. You're right.
Do you know about that, Jax? Have you heard of that?
Sounds right. Like, yeah, I would never have dropped that knowledge because I don't feel confident in it, but you saying it, I was like, yes, Rachel. Just like with snow too. I know they do things that make it look more like the thing that it is, but I don't know what those things.
Yeah. Because I've heard that they sometimes, even if it's raining outside, they won't use that rain. They still have to create the fake rain. But they obviously had to create a lot of fake rain in this movie.
They did.
What's that like?
It's like a giant, it's like a giant sprinkler, really, but like 20, 30 feet high, really, really wide. Almost looks like a thick antenna, and it's just shooting the water out wherever it does it. But there's so much pressure going through it. If you don't have it secure properly, it can actually tip itself over, which almost happened one day. But they were safe and they were on it. But if you turn it up a certain amount, it's just like it's torrential.
You have to worry about your makeup and stuff when there's that moisture in the air.
Yeah. But like the opening scene where I had like the hood on and stuff like that, like I was literally drenched, like I was in a swimming pool under that coat, because it was just like, it looks like a lot in the movie, but it's even more in real life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Very good. All right. Well, what is your number 3, Jax?
Well, appropriate for this conversation, my number 3 is Love in the Forecast. And I'm really obsessed with this cast. It's such a good ensemble cast. Like, I love Dorn Bell also, Nelson Wong. Of course, we talked about Donna, you, Cindy. I'm a total Busby. So I love everything that she does. And you guys and your chemistry is always hot and popping. So I really, really love this. And Rachel, as you mentioned, it came out at a time when we needed it. It wasn't just that we wanted it or that it was, adding to our lives. It was like, I need something right now in lockdown. And that it really provided that welcome escape. So thank you.
It boosted the spirits.
That's really great to hear. Because Cindy and I had worked together before that movie on Puppy for Christmas. I think that's on Hallmark now or something like that. It's on one of the streaming ones. but that one I played her like nasty boyfriend who ends up becoming the
The wrong
ex-boyfriend.
guy.
Yeah, like, you know, the clean shaven suit wearing guy who's just not very nice. Yeah, so we met then, and we kind of like we got on pretty well there, and that was more the comedy was pushed a little bigger in that. So then when Love in the Forecast came around and we found out we were working together on that, it just it clicked in a different way, and it was really good because we're just kind of on the same page. Like sometimes you work with some people and it's more of like a technical relationship. Like you do the rehearsal and you know what's going to happen when, and that's great. And that can work too. But with Cindy and I, we never knew what was going to happen, but we knew it was going to work out because we just go in there and it just be like, she'd do something that I didn't know she was going to do. And then I would do the same, and we just give it back to each other. And it, like a lot of that was actually ad-libbed, that movie, when it was her and I. Yeah.
Yeah, Cindy, we've never heard a bad thing ever said about Cindy Busby. Everybody loves her so much, and we have had a great experience with her. She's been on our show a couple times, and she was actually maybe our second celebrity interview that we ever did.
Oh,
so
wow.
she was a supporter very early on of the podcast. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, she's
very
great. She's very positive and supportive, like you say, and loyal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, my number 3 is Chasing Waterfalls. Is number 3.
Oh, number 3.
3,
Okay.
I know. I'm a big water person. I'm an open water swimmer. I've actually just this last in June completed my 15th open water race. So I love water and I love being in the water. And so the whole sort of this mystical waterfall that gets me, that intrigues me. And I thought, you know, all the filming of you all in the waterfall, it looked freezing, and I'm sure you were freezing, but it still looked pretty. And I enjoyed it. I thought that it was kind of a fun story about, you know, this adventure.
Cool.
Was it freezing, the water? What was that like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's glacial runoff water, right, coming down from British Columbian mountains, and dropping right into that nice little pool that they had us go dip in. And we shot that in August, so that was like the hottest month. And still, I would say we only lasted maybe 1 or 2 minutes at a time. But getting down there, so like that movie, what I love about that movie is the majority of the locations, the crew and everyone, you could not drive. You couldn't even take like a golf cart or something to get there. We had to walk. So a lot of locations were a good 30-minute walk from the closest parking lot or whatever. And then that particular location you're talking about, when we were in the water, that was another 20 minutes for me and Cindy to get down. And then they had the drone come down to shoot it. And then the water safety guy in there with us. So I think that speaks to at least the visual aspect of that movie, because these were certainly not sets. We were right in the thick of it for sure. But yeah, it was freezing.
It looked really, really cold. I know those mountain streams and things can be freezing. I can't even imagine up in Canada. It's got to be really, really cold. But it was beautiful, and I thought that it was a pretty good story. I liked you and your daughter in that one, and
yeah, Cassidy, she's great. She's really good.
That was fun. So that made my number 3. So Jax, what is your number 2?
That's my number 2.
Nice.
I think that this one, definitely not for the reasons Rachel liked it in the sense with relating to the swimming, because that's not relatable for me. I'm not an open water swimmer, barely a doggy paddler. However, I liked that the conflict in this movie had a lot of depth and didn't seem contrived at all. Like you could see it wasn't one of those fake misunderstandings. It was her boss, I'm trying to think of a more appropriate way to say what she did to her. She did her dirty.
Yeah.
By publishing the That's what I landed on. That seemed natural as I searched for words. Then for you to be upset about it also made all the sense in the world. And then that magical moment at the end when you were at the waterfall together, I thought it was really this beautifully transcendent thing. And also I'm a huge fan of Cassidy. I thought that the chemistry between the three of you, it wasn't one of those cheesy, we're all a family now, Insta family. It was a totally new relationship dynamic that again didn't feel forced. So I just love this movie. It was great.
All right. Well, my number 2 is Nature of Love. And I totally bought that this was a real resort. Like, I think I even asked Chris Wolf about it. I was like, where did you film that? That was so beautiful. And she was like, we made it up. It's not even a real resort. And that was pretty impressive. It looked like a legit resort that you could go visit. And I think the whole idea, because I am not a camper at all. I do not like, I love being in the water, but I don't like camping. I don't like sleeping on the floor. That's a big problem with me with camping. And I don't like being dirty. So the idea of glamping, where you're not dirty and you don't have to sleep on the floor, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I don't have Jax's unpleasant experiences. And I thought it provided a nice escapism, that this whole idea of the glamping and the earth and everything like that. And I also just thought it was pretty, and I liked the lavender fields. That was beautiful. And the idea that anybody would want to tear them down is absolutely.
I know, it's atrocious. How dare they? Like, we need more developments, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, side note on that, so we filmed that majority in Squamish, in British Columbia, which is sort of like a halfway up a mountain type town. And the scenes by the river, there's actual black bear on the other side of it while we were shooting. You know, when I put her phone down? When she's going to take a picture and I put her phone down to just enjoy the moment, that actually in that moment, there was a black bear on the other side of the river, just watching us. Maybe he was fishing, I don't know, but he looked like he was just watching us. Like,
were you freaked out, or was anyone else freaked out, or you were?
No, because the river moves so quick. If he jumped in it, he's not coming over to us. He'll be down somewhere else. Yeah.
Like, they don't even need the special effects. They could just use the bear we have right here.
Yeah, and we had animal safety people there, like their bear horns and everything that you need to kind of scare them off. So it would have been fine.
Oh, that's good. That must have been beautiful though, that lavender field.
Yeah, CGI pumped it up a bit, but it was pretty nice. Yeah.
Don't tell us that.
Well, no, like not CGI. Pardon me, color correction. They just pop the color a bit more, right? I gotta tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't want to break your heart when you go to the field and you're like, wait a minute.
But yeah, and I think it was pretty. So I think that Amelia was pregnant in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and I think they did a pretty good job of hiding it, because sometimes they don't. And it looks not great, but they did a pretty good job in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like working with her. She's really down to earth, and she's a good actor.
Yeah, she's a really good actress. And so, all right, so we're at our number ones. This is very exciting, and
I feel like it's going to be the same movie.
We have the same number one,
which is funny.
We have Midnight Masquerade, right, Jeff?
Okay. Here's what I do want to say out of the gate. I think because it is a little bit more vintage Hallmark, I didn't know what to expect going in. And again, I'm such a Busby. I love your chemistry with her. I was positive before I watched Midnight Masquerade, I was like, my number one, number two, we're going to be chasing waterfalls on the forecast, of course, done. And then I watched this movie and I was like, how have I never seen this? I'm obsessed with it. I laughed the whole time. It was just so funny. And even the stuff that was cheesy funny in the right way. Like when you and the guy's son that was also dressed as a prince and that whole madcap thing are trying to get back into the office.
Yeah.
I was howling. I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, and the two brothers are such like sniveling.
Yeah, they're awful.
Especially the one with the curly hair is so bad. And I sometimes I like a good sniveling bad man of business.
Yeah.
Is that it? That's Rachel's like, yeah, I'm into that archetype.
Well, and Autumn's great. We always love her. And
Yeah, she is. She's really nice. So that one was my first lead ever. And I had the time of my life, let me tell you. I was just so excited to be there. I really enjoyed the script and working with everyone on it, and the freedoms the director would give me to pump up the humor a little bit, or at least try to be a little more, I for lack of a better word, physical. I don't know if you noticed, but Rob Corelli is he moves in kind of an awkward way sometimes. Like trying to get through the crowd of people, or when he's got all his books in the law office, or like sliding in with the coffees or at the bowling alley and stuff like that. So we had a lot of fun working on him that way. And yeah, just in general, it was a lot of fun.
I loved your niece so much in this movie. She was hilarious.
Yes, she's really good.
Constantly trying to like set you up and stuff like that. And her throwing in all these bowling stats at a moment's notice, like so-and-so female bowler beat male bowler in 2010 or whatever. Like, this girl knows her stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, she was great.
She's probably an adult now.
I know. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Because 2000. So it's been 7 years. So
yeah,
that's crazy.
My goodness.
Yeah, she was really fun.
I also loved that it showed how much heart your character had too when you were trying to help out the front desk guy.
Yeah.
I really liked that. And it wasn't something that took over the A plot or that you even need to spend a lot of time on, but I think it really added to the substance of who he was. Like, we got to see it with his niece, and then of course he's falling in love, but then we also got to see that, oh man, he's actually a really good human being, which again, as Rachel pointed out, is an utter contrast with these two evil brothers.
Yeah. I know. And what I also appreciate about that movie is it's kind of the reverse of the typical Hallmark structure. It is a vintage Hallmark, as you say, absolutely. However, the roles are reversed. Instead of the man who has it all together coming in and the woman who's trying to figure out her life, it's the other way around. Not so much that Rob's trying to figure out his life. It's just he's kind of in a position that's not ideal, but he's doing his best.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and they're always like, here's more work for you to do. And you're like, no, I'm going to take my niece bowling. Sorry.
Yeah,
she
won't
like even
reverse.
let you. She's like, sorry, you're taking me bowling.
It's like it was almost like a take on, well, not almost, it was a take on the Cinderella story, right? But reversed. Yeah, like with the, I gotta get back to the office before midnight, right?
And how even though she is so smart, Elise, she still doesn't recognize you at the ball. And that's when I was like, I'm totally in on this. Like, and then you're giving all these facts, and it's just, it really was at that point that it settled in about it being the absolute like reverse Cinderella story. And then I said I don't like the whole vintage Hallmark with the engagement proposal at the end. I always feel like it's too quick. But in this one, the fact that it was at the bowling alley, you guys look darling. You've got the cute shoes on. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have more Halloween lawyer costume ball Hallmark movies.
That's like the only one, isn't it?
I think so. I think it is the only one.
Yeah, that's why I keep getting checks. No, I was kidding.
So you had to learn how to dance in this movie a little bit.
We did.
What was
We
that
had
like?
to. Oh, it was fun. Yeah, we had a lot of. I had a lot of lessons for that. I had more lessons for that than I have on any Hallmark movie where I'm supposed to have some sort of special skill. We had bowling lessons, had quite a few, and then the dance lessons. Yeah, and it was great. The guy who was teaching us, I can't remember his name now, so I apologize if he's listening to this, but he was really into it. Like this was his dream to train people to dance for film and television. So he had us working hard. Let me tell you, to get that foxtrot down. Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I'm a terrible dancer.
Not if you were trained by him in one afternoon, I tell you.
If he could work his pixie dust on me, that would be something. I'll tell you that right now. But they always start with such hard dances on these things. Like if somebody needed a quick learn, I would just like be very basic, but they're doing like waltzes and stuff. I don't know. That seems very hard.
But once we got into it, it's kind of like, I say this for anything, like it's so much more fun if I can learn the actual thing I'm supposed to be at least half decent at. It makes the whole scene so much better that we, instead of faking it, we're actually doing it. And Autumn and I were able to do that. So it makes the whole thing just work better.
Yeah. Well, and I love the fact that we got our leading man in a tux in this movie, because you don't see that very often.
No.
And so you should tell the people at Hallmark that we both had this as our number one. So more movies like this.
Okay. And then call them right now.
See me in a tux more.
Okay.
But yes, so let's go over our rankings real quick. So I have Midnight Masquerade at number 1. I have Nature of Love at number 2. I have Chasing Waterfalls at number 3. Love in the Forecast at 4. Merry Matrimony at 5. And Love Unleashed at 6. So Jax.
I've got Midnight Masquerade at 1, Chasing Waterfalls 2, Love in the Forecast 3, Love Unleashed 4, Nature of Love 5, and Merry Matrimony 6.
Yes. So now you can tell us which one is your favorite. You've had this whole episode to think about it.
Oh, it's tough. I don't know. I mean, I have a great nostalgia for Midnight Masquerade. But I don't know if that's because it was my first lead or there's something about the tone of the film, but I'm happy with that one. But also, having said that, I really enjoyed making Chasing Waterfalls. I thought the final product looked quite cinematic at times. Like more, you know how some Hallmark movies can just have like a standard look to them?
Yes.
Not in a negative way, but they have a look.
Got it. Yeah.
But Chasing Waterfalls had pretty, for lack of a better word, epic shots of the scenery and stuff. And I really enjoyed working with Cindy, and I thought that we did pretty good in that one. And Cassidy was great. Yeah. So
what do you think of our rankings? Are you happy with them? You're surprised by any of them? Yeah.
No, definitely not surprised at all. I mean, I can't give you a guarantee or like I'd have to really think on this.
Very good. Well, thank you so much.
I also want to work with these different directors again. So I can't say who's done the better one.
No, you did a great job. So thank you so much for doing this. This was so much fun. We had a great time, and it's so nice for you to do this. And do you have like social media or something like that you want to share?
Well, I'm at Chris Russell Official on Instagram. That's about it.
Okay, great.
I'm slowly getting the hang of it.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again. And yeah, we'll be excited to have you on for your next movie. You got lots in the works, so it's going to be fun. Yeah, add a new one to this ranking.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure.
Thanks so much.
All right.
I'd like to thank Christopher for coming on doing this ranking. It's definitely not the easiest thing to have your films ranked, and he was such a good sport and so much fun. We really appreciate it. And Jax, where can people find you?
People can find me at Jacqueline Collier on Instagram and Jacqueline C tweets on Twitter. And Rachel, thank you for having me on. This was so fun.
Oh, it was great. I'm so glad that you were able to make it work. And so thank you. And you were up late for this, so thank you for that. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. It really helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group where we have monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Mary Lou Henner and Lacey Chabert. And so we've had incredible stars, Paul Campbell. So make sure that you sign up for the Patreon. You won't regret it. It's really fun. All the information in the description. We also have our merch store, which has tons of fun Hallmark-inspired merch. So please take a look at that. It helps us out so much. And we appreciate all of you listening. Please give us your thoughts in the comments section. Give us your rankings. We would love to see what you do for ranking the Christopher Russell movies. That would be a lot of fun. So thanks so much, everybody. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.